The terrifying part isn't how big the Milky Way is, it's how empty it is. Entire solar systems drift alone, separated by cosmic oceans of nothing. You think the universe is full of stuff, stars, planets, galaxies, matter. It's not. And I'm about to show you something that will fundamentally break how you understand space. Because when you actually visualize what the Milky Way looks like, when you see how much nothing exists between the things we call something, you're going to feel a kind of cosmic loneliness you've never felt before. This isn't just empty. This is terrifyingly empty. And by the end of this video, you're going to realize we are not floating in a universe full of stars. We are drowning in an ocean of void. Let's go. The Milky Way is our home galaxy. It contains somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars. Sounds crowded, right? Like the galaxy must be packed with activity, with light, with something. Wrong. The Milky Way is about 100,000 light years across. That's about 946 quadrillion kilometers. 946 quadrillion kilometers. Edge to edge. Now, let's shrink it. Because those numbers are useless to your brain. Let's make the Milky Way something you can actually picture. Imagine the entire galaxy. All 100,000 light years of it is 1,000 kilometers wide. The size of a country you could drive across in about 10 hours. That's our model. 1,000 kilometers equals sign 100,000 light years, which means every 1 centimeter in our model equals 1 light year in reality. Got it? Good. Now let's place the stars. And this is where everything falls apart. In our shrunken galaxy, 1,000 kilometers across, let's start with the sun. Our sun. The star you see every single day. At this scale, where 1 centimeter equals sign 1 light year, how big is the sun? The sun has a diameter of about 1.339 million kilometers. A light year is about 9.46 trillion kilometers. So the sun, at our scale, becomes 0.000000147 light years wide. Now convert that into our model scale. 0.000000147 centimeters. That's about 1.5 nanometers. Smaller than many viruses, completely invisible to your eyes. A human hair is roughly 80,000 to 100,000 nanometers thick. At galaxy scale, the sun is about 50,000 times smaller than a human hair. The star that powers Earth, the giant nuclear furnace dominating our entire solar system, becomes smaller than a bacterium. Invisible. Okay. So the sun is about 1.5 nanometers wide in our model. Now where's the nearest star? The closest star system to us is Proxima Centauri. Distance 4.24 light years. At our scale, where 1 centimeter equals sign 1 light year, that means Proxima Centauri sits 4.24 centimeters away. Let's review that. The sun is an invisible speck, only 1.5 nanometers wide, and the nearest star is over 4 centimeters away. That's about the width of 2 fingers. Imagine a microscopic particle smaller than a virus, floating alone, with the next microscopic particle sitting centimeters away in total darkness. That's not crowded. That's isolation. That's cosmic abandonment. Let's do the math on the whole galaxy. The Milky Way contains roughly 200 billion stars as a reasonable estimate. The galaxy is a thin disk about 100,000 light years wide and roughly 1,000 light years thick near the sun. Now let's estimate the volume. Pi into 50,000 light years, square into 1,000 light years, 7.85 trillion cubic light years. Now divide. 200 billion stars divided by 7.85 trillion cubic light years equals about 0.0225 stars per cubic light year. Not 25, 0.025. That means the average star gets about 40 cubic light years all to itself. A cube roughly 3.4 light years wide. That's the average spacing. And remember, 1 light year is 9.46 trillion kilometers. So stars in our region of the galaxy are typically separated by tens of trillions of kilometers. The Milky Way is not packed, it's mostly vacuum. Let's go back to our 1,000 kilometer model. We've established the Sun is about 1.5 nanometers wide. The nearest star is 4.24 centimeters away. There are roughly 200 billion stars in the galaxy. Now, what does that actually look like? Imagine standing alone on a perfectly flat plane stretching 1,000 kilometers in every direction. You place one invisible grain smaller than a virus in front of you. Then you walk 4 centimeters before finding the next invisible grain. Then another few centimeters. Across the entire 1,000 kilometer landscape, that's the galaxy. Tiny invisible grains separated by absurd amounts of nothing. And here's the terrifying part. Even with hundreds of billions of stars, most of the galaxy is still empty. If you picked a random point in the Milky Way, the odds of landing anywhere near a star are tiny. The galaxy is not full. The galaxy is a desert. And it gets worse. The Milky Way isn't evenly distributed. It has spiral arms where stars and gas are more concentrated. And between those arms are inner arm regions, cosmic gaps, where star density drops dramatically. We live in one of those quieter regions inside the Orion Spur, a small branch between larger spiral arms. We're not in the crowded downtown of the galaxy. We're in the suburbs. At our scale, you could travel enormous distances through the galaxy and encounter almost nothing at all. Just darkness, thin gas, and emptiness. Imagine floating in space, not inside a ship, not inside a suit, just suspended in the Milky Way itself. You look around. Darkness in every direction. No glowing sci-fi nebulae, no crowded starfields like the movies, just black. Eventually, far away, you might notice a tiny point of light, faint, distant, almost lost in the dark. That's another star, and even traveling at light speed, it would still take years to reach it. That's what the Milky Way really is. Not a galaxy full of stars, but a void with occasional sparks. Imagine driving across an entire continent, and every 100 kilometers there's a single street light. Not a town, not a gas station, just one lonely light. And between them, nothing. No buildings, no roads, no signs, just darkness stretching forever. That's the Milky Way, a galaxy-sized highway with lonely lights scattered across unimaginable emptiness. And Earth is a grain of dust orbiting one of those lights. Now here's the truly disturbing part. We've actually sent objects into that void. Voyager 1 launched in 1977. It's been traveling for nearly 50 years, and today it's about 25 billion kilometers from Earth. That sounds enormous, but in interstellar terms, that's only about 0.0026 light years, not even 1,000th of the way across the galaxy, and only a tiny fraction of the distance to the nearest star. At its current speed, Voyager 1 would take roughly 73,000 years to pass near Proxima Centauri. 73,000 years. Longer than recorded human civilization. And when it gets there, it won't stop. It won't land. It'll just drift onward into the next void. And the next. And the next. For millions or billions of years. Alone in the dark. That's what real interstellar travel means. Not hopping between stars like science fiction. Drifting through nothingness for geological timescales. Let's calculate something terrifying. There are roughly 200 billion stars in the Milky Way. The average distance between neighboring stars near us is roughly 4 to 5 light years. Even if you could travel at light speed and instantly jump from one star to another without stopping. Visiting every star once would still take roughly 200 billion into 5 years equals 1 trillion years. 1 trillion years. The universe itself is only about 13.8 billion years old. You would need more than 70 times the current age of the universe just to visit every star once, even at the fastest speed physically possible. The galaxy is too large, the voids are too deep, the emptiness wins, and this connects directly to the Fermi paradox. The question, where is everybody? If there are billions of planets and maybe millions of civilizations, why haven't we heard from anyone? One possible answer is distance itself, even if intelligent civilizations are common. The galaxy is so vast and so empty that communication becomes almost impossible. A civilization 1,000 light years away would receive our radio signals 1,000 years after we sent them. and we'd wait another 1,000 years for a reply. Civilizations could rise and collapse before conversations even finish. The emptiness doesn't just separate stars, it separates minds. Now let's go farther out, toward the outer rim of the Milky Way, roughly 50,000 light years from the center. Out here, stars become even rarer. If you stood on a planet near the galactic outskirts, your night sky might look almost empty. No bright Milky Way band stretching overhead, no dense star clouds, just scattered points of light against endless darkness. You might not even realize you lived inside a galaxy at all. That's how isolated the outer regions can become. And beyond the Milky Way, the nearest major galaxy is Andromeda Galaxy. Distance, roughly 2.5 million light years. At our scale, where the Milky Way is 1,000 kilometers across, Andromeda would sit about 25,000 kilometers away, more than halfway around Earth. And the space between galaxies, almost entirely empty. A few rogue stars, thin hydrogen gas, occasional particles drifting through darkness, but mostly nothing. 2.5 million light years of near total void, that's not a gap. That's an abyss. The meaning. So here's what we've learned. The Milky Way is not crowded. It is not packed with stars. It is overwhelmingly empty. Hundreds of billions of stars scattered across 100,000 light years of darkness, each separated by trillions of kilometers of void, and galaxies themselves separated by millions of light years of even greater emptiness. We are not living in a universe overflowing with matter. We are living in islands of light surrounded by oceans of nothing. And the only reason the night sky feels crowded is because we're seeing those distant lights compressed into tiny points from impossibly far away. The beautiful part. But here's the strange beauty in all this emptiness. If the universe were crowded, if stars were packed tightly together everywhere, there would be no darkness, no contrast, no awe. The emptiness is what makes the stars meaningful. Because inside all that void, against impossible odds, something exists, a star, a planet, life, consciousness, you. You are the rare thing that happened in a universe mostly designed for silence. Look up tonight. Next time you look at the night sky, remember you are not seeing a crowded universe. You're seeing isolated sparks scattered across incomprehensible darkness. Tiny lights surviving inside an ocean of void. And you orbiting one of those lights are one of the rare exceptions. If this made you feel the weight of cosmic isolation, send it to someone before tomorrow's upload. And if you want another terrifying perspective on reality tomorrow, subscribe now, because we're just getting started.